Hey, GLP-1 plus sides community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Hey everyone, before we dive in, I really want to share something personal with you. About, I want to say like 8 to 10 months ago, after losing 100 pounds on GLP-1s and keeping it off for a long time, I started regaining out of nowhere, and I was terrified. But I also started having hot flashes and bouts of crying and snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. unable to go back to sleep. It turns out I was in perimenopause. So I started hormone replacement therapy, which is also called HRT, through a telehealth called Winona that specializes in this. And it changed everything. And now I'm sleeping better. And my hot flashes are all but gone, thank God. And I feel like myself again. And it turns out that you can actually start perimenopause as early as 35. And well, I'm 46 and she's here. HRT has really come a long way and there's just no need to suffer anymore. So if you're like this and you're in the same boat, you can check out buywinona.com and you can use the link in our link tree to save some money.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster. Confidence higher. Price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides
Introducing Peptide Bite. It's the first daily natural vitamin to help support a reduction in the major side effects of GLP1s. Peptide Bite supports fatigue, nausea, GI side effects, and promotes better metabolism. It is third-party tested, made in the USA in a FDA-certified facility. Peptide Bite is a game-changer all-in-one daily supplement. Pharmacist and physician formulated to be safe and effective. Use code +20 for 20% off at zennutrients.com.
Hey, everybody. What's up?
Hello.
What's up,
Hi.
Peptides community? With a Z, y'all.
With a Z.
With a Z.
Sides.
What's up,
How are
everybody?
you?
What's going on with you all?
It's a fantastic evening. Another evening to record the plus sides with the Z, y'all. We're
The
missing
plus
Kim tonight,
sides.
but we got Sabrina in the place to be.
Yay.
I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with Sabrina right now. I'm losing my skill.
I know. I think that you need your Rick James t-shirt on again.
I have my produced, arranged, composed, and performed by Prince tee on, though.
Oh, yes.
Gotta love it.
I had to go all the way.
Yeah.
I know. You know what? This is a 3X tee. I would buy things super huge
Yeah.
to be big on me, but now it's like my husband says it looks like a sack on me.
You're swimming in it.
Yeah.
See? Losing those inches and pounds.
Yep.
Yep.
I will not part with any of my Prince tees though. So
I get it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you know what? They will just have to look like a tent.
it's fine. And then
Yeah.
what?
I'm sorry. I do have a comfort sweater that I will not part with. I think it's like a 3 or 4X, but I mean, I'm not that size anymore, but I can't let it go.
That makes me think of Lydia made like one of her transformation videos. She has a sweater that she puts on and it's like a tent.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
Right. Yeah.
But there are some shirts I
Totally.
saved, like my Rick James one. We recorded a podcast yesterday, Sabrina, and I was very proud of myself because I could fit back into this Rick James t-shirt that I bought like 20 plus years ago.
I love it though. I'm like,
That's
Rick
great.
James. And immediately I started singing Cold Blooded. Immediately.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Awful.
I did.
I know. I'm talking like my singing was awful.
Well, I loved your t-shirt and I love statement tees anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's still a little snug, but hey, I bought it snug in the first place to begin with. So I was like, oh my God, it fits.
We are works in progress. We are works in progress.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
Like it used to be like this.
look, wait a minute, but do I see a collarbone there, Kat?
I was peeping that, JT. I was looking at the collarbone.
Right, Sabrina? I
Mhm.
think I peep a little collarbone.
Look at them delts.
I'm not quite
Right,
there, but
Sabrina's belts. Yep.
I'll get there.
Sabrina, and you're not that far either. I was peeping you too. I'm like, I think I see a collarbone there.
Go Sabrina.
I'm just saying.
Mhm. But
That's
welcome to the plus sides, everybody. Yay.
I know. Welcome.
We're fully
Another
back.
episode.
Yes, another episode. We're fully back into the recording schedule and life, and it feels good.
It does. It does. I kind of missed you all. Just a little bit.
It's been a few weeks, right?
Just a little.
Yeah.
I know. Like the holidays
A few weeks
just
since our
came in
influencer mixer.
like a wind. And then it was the mixer. And
Yeah.
then we started recording again. And then it's just all the ebbs and flows of the community, and of the medications. And you're just like, whoo, okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But it's a good a lot. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful. I mean, I love this community. I love you guys, so.
Aw,
Love
and
that.
ditto.
Yeah, very mutual. Love fest.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's it. Throw it up. Throw it up.
We have a really fun, we don't have a community guest this evening, but we have, or I said this evening, and you're going to listen or view at any time of the day. But when we record, it's in the evening. And so
Right.
That's why I said evening. But we don't have a community guest. We go straight through our expert. But we have to introduce ourselves. I mean, we know everybody knows Jardine and I, but we got to reacquaint with Sabrina over here.
Definitely.
Since our live with her, but really quickly, and I'll just stop talking. I'm Kat Carter 7 on TikTok. I've officially lost 70 pounds finally. On Mounjaro. I love fitness.
Mounjaro.
And that's
Mounjaro.
I love fitness and Prince. So
yeah.
So who's next?
Sabrina.
Okay,
So,
Sabrina.
My name is Sabrina Ramos, and I'm Brina_727 on TikTok. I'm on Mounjaro, and I am down 59 pounds. I love to work out. I'm just like Kat, butt stuff, right?
Woo! Butt stuff meaning for your butt, your gluteals max.
Yes.
Maximus.
Love the leg press, and love working out. So
awesome. Okay, so you all are making me feel like the odd woman out. I am JT the Janine on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and I am down 55 pounds on Mounjaro. I'm currently in maintenance, and I love to do pretty girl workouts like Pilates.
Pilates is no joke. I mean, that's a special kind of workout right there.
Pilates is really, really interesting. And I'm obsessed with my stepper because it just doesn't just go up and down. It goes side to side. Yeah. So it works your core and your hips. I'm a little obsessed with it. So while I'm watching TV, I've got my resistance bands to make her dance. And I am just rocking. Yep.
This is a family. I like it. Don't get there too far down the hole.
Yeah. we can't go too far down that rabbit hole, but we can just say that part.
I have one at my desk. It's great. I did not use it yet today, but I did get up and I put on some music, so I was dancing.
Those things are addictive. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay. And you don't want to stop until like you reach that number goal. But I mean,
you sweat too. Well, I do. I sweat at anything.
Me too. Sweat. Yeah. I'm sitting up here like, okay, that thing is deceiving because it's like, oh, this is going to be easy. Not.
You get a good workout in. Workout in from this.
People are losing lots of weight on it.
They are.
Legs in shape.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
you'll be ready soon, Janine.
I'm working on my Mounjaro, but I won't have it anymore.
That's right.
But there's me.
That's it. Okay. So tonight we're gonna speak with Devin Patel. Woo-hoo! I'm gonna bring him on. All right, Devin. Drum roll, please.
There he is.
It's so awesome. I got a drum roll. Look at that.
You got a drum roll, Devin, and not many people get drum rolls. Yeah. You got a drum roll.
Love it. You girls are looking so excited and vibrant tonight. I'm excited to do this podcast with you. This is cool.
Thank you.
It's gonna be fun.
Very, very.
Thanks for being here.
No, thank you for inviting me and having me on. I really appreciate it.
Quick pause here. I've had moments on my GLP-1 journey where insurance changes or rising costs force me to look for a new provider. And honestly, that process can feel very overwhelming. But that's why the Plus Sides podcast has partnered with GLP Winner to give our subscribers a resource to help them make that decision easier. GLP Winner is a comparison platform that lets you explore telehealth providers in all 50 states, whether you're looking for brand name medications or compounded options. You can see pricing up front, read reviews, and get a clear picture of which provider might align best with your needs. Check it out today at glpwinner.com/plus-sides. That's glpwinner.com/plus-sides. Don't forget the Z. let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through the same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, this might be something for you to try. So I just wanted to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need.
"20 seconds a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
Devin is out of all of us here on the podcast, he's in a warm, nice, warm climate. So he's enjoying.
Yeah,
no deep freeze.
I was rubbing it in earlier. I'm calling from Florida, so it's 40 degrees outside. So sorry.
Nice, Devin.
Yeah.
Nice.
Under this hat coat, there's probably shorts. Okay.
That's pretty cool. I mean, why not? Why not? Yeah,
right.
I'm in sweats. It's really warm, and we're all still cold because we're on Mounjaro, right? So we're chill.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, Devin, we started off really easy. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you help people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm a pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for over 20 years. The grays in my beard would definitely tell that, but I love what I do. I have a big compassion for helping patients and customers out. I always have since I started pharmacy school, and that's sort of why I went in that direction. And then I pivoted. Used to have my own pharmacy, co-owned it with my brother, and then and I've worked in different assets of pharmacy. So from manufacturing to pharmacy compounding to working on the PBM side of healthcare. So I've seen many different sides of pharmacy. So it's been a really interesting ride. But the last probably 10 years have been in a supplement business, detouring and trying to come up with unique supplements to help people out in addition to with prescription medication. And then in addition to that, working, like I said earlier, in the compounding space. So have some decent knowledge there as well. So like I said, love what I do, have a compassion, and I lead with that sort of mindset of trying to come up with unique ways of making people feel better and just, be happier.
That's great. We're going to have a great conversation this evening.
Yes.
Wealth of knowledge.
I'm excited.
All right. All right. So Sabrina's up. What's your question?
So just how did you come up with the idea to develop Zen Nutrients?
Great question. So the company was co-founded by another pharmacist, Kritika, and myself, as well as then we brought on several board certified doctors and naturopathic doctors to come up with Zen. And the idea of Zen comes back from like Asian roots, Buddhist roots, right? In Sanskrit, it means like absorption and meditation, and just being happy is the slang word, right? So. And then the word nutrients, right? So if you have happy nutrients and your body is healing from within, that's sort of the idea and concept of Zen Nutrients. Just come up with some ways to help people heal from within and be happy.
Wow. That's awesome. So if people are listening or you're watching, if you're not familiar, Zen Nutrients, they're also a friend of the show of the plus sides. So I know Janine does take the Zen Nutrients.
Oh,
I do. And I am a believer And just to show you, yes, I have both of them. I had the Peptide Vite, which is a daily GLP-1 support vitamin. And for someone that had almost all the side effects of Mounjaro, look, almost all of them, I literally wish that this would have been available like when I first started my journey. And because it just would have helped a whole lot. And then I also had the everyday liver vitamin, which we will get into later with like fatty liver disease and things like that. And people ask me what I use, how did you get to maintenance? And that is part of that was part of my regimen, as well as it's still part of my regimen. Like the last 10 to 15 pounds can be a real struggle because I think your body knows that it's about to reach its goal. But you know what, Devin, talking about these supplements and with compound being a hot topic in the GLP-1 space, how do compound pharmacies make compounds of semaglutide and tirzepatide without exposing proprietary practices?
What a wonderful question. So, the easiest way to sort of explain this is that you have all the big drug companies, Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, right, Pfizer, and they've spent so much time and effort doing clinical studies. They've developed a lot of the initial chemicals that are actually used in these medications. The active medication is sort of what we called it. And so they have patents on these medications, right? But what happens is that, the FDA allows for compounding pharmacies to make a product if it's on the shortage list, right? And I'm sure all you guys have probably talked about many times about, Ozempic being on a shortage list, right? So when the FDA finds out that the drug company can't keep up with the supply and demand and it goes on the shortage list, the actual chemical becomes available for wholesalers that supply raw powder. And when I say raw powder, it's like the actual powder to make glutide. It's almost like cooking in the kitchen, right? You got to find like the flour, the yeast, and you're finding all the premium ingredients to put together to make like the best cake possible. Well, in this case, you're finding the powder from a manufacturer that can source it. And so compounding pharmacies are allowed to, when it's on shortage, get the powder and make the medication. Now, the challenge is like, how do you make the product the same, or if not similar to Eli Lilly's or Novo Nordisk's problem, right? Product. And so you're always going to have, let's say there's probably 100 compounding pharmacies in the United States. Not every one of them are going to follow all the rules, the FDA sort of sets out in place for pharmacies to follow. So there's guidelines set across that, a pharmacy should follow when making these medications and stuff like that. So you're going to have different pharmacies make it different ways, which it shouldn't be the case. But unfortunately, that's sort of how it happens. But I would say more than 95% of the pharmacies are going to make it the right way. And there's going to be a few outliers that are probably not accredited pharmacies. Probably that are not following the rules and regulations, and they're just, basically running gray area, making the compounded medications. Did I sort of answer that question? I know it was a little long-winded, but yeah.
Yeah. And what are some of when you mentioned the outliers, the ones who are not completely following regulation, what are some of the red flags that we would, our listeners would have to really look out for?
Yeah.
In relation to that.
Yeah, if you're the consumer looking for a pharmacy that you're getting a compounded medication from, I would make sure it's an accredited facility. There is a big, it's called a PCAB or ACHC. The name sort of got merged together when ACHC took it over. But basically, it's an accrediting body full of individuals that make sure that they have the experience in compounding, that go to pharmacies, go on site and inspect them, and making sure that they have full set of policies and procedures, and basically following all the guidelines of the FDA and the United States Pharmacopoeia, which is another set of rules that the pharmacies are following, right? So if they follow those and you're getting inspected, that's a great thing to have, this PCAB certification. The cool thing is you can go on the PCAB website or ACC website, and you can sort of look to see if your pharmacy is accredited. A lot of times, which is cool, pharmacies are happy. They've spent a lot of time and effort. It's not easy getting accredited. So a lot of the pharmacies are going to put that badge, it's like a badge of honor, on their website. So if you don't have it there and you're using a pharmacy, chances are there's a good chance they probably don't have it, but you can still always ask them to be like, are you accredited facility or not?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great to know.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of several types of accreditations, but that's probably one of the big accreditations that definitely help from a safety standpoint. And then I'm going down another path too, because these days sometimes you can buy from a manufacturing facility, and those are called 503B pharmacies, or 503B facilities. They're basically manufacturing facilities. So you have the drug companies, then you have these manufacturing facilities, and then you have the compounding pharmacies. So now you have these 503B facilities that are actually compounding or making semaglutide and tirzepatide. So that's another option as well too. So, and those facilities not necessarily are going to be accredited, but it's a great place from a safety standpoint to acquire your medication.
Okay. And that's a 503. What was it? 503B?
503B facility.
503B. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Makes me think of 501. It's a highway in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Sorry, 501, 503B. So it's burned in my brain.
A lot of like weight loss clinics purchase directly from 503B. So, like some of those weight loss clinics that you see out there that are injecting you once a week or once, on site, or give you the pre-filled, sometimes syringes, or make it convenient. They're buying from a facility, typically a manufacturing facility that's making compounded semaglutide or tirzepatide.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I got another question for you. What are the causes of speaking of compounding, prescription pricing? What are the causes of the compounding prices being vastly different from the commercial medication?
Yeah. So really, when I talked about earlier about the pharmaceutical companies having to spend so much time and effort in clinical trials, a lot of the money is going into the clinical trials, right? And that research, So believe it or not, it takes quite a bit of time for the pharmaceutical companies to sort of recoup a lot of that time, money, and effort running those clinical trials, and from drug development to actually running the trials. And then post after that, marketing dollars are just incredible, right? If you're on the couch, they're having primetime slots, right? I'm sure on the big bowl game that's coming up, they're going to have some primetime slots as there.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But I mean, all these things drive up the cost. But it's crazy because the actual raw powder itself is not, it's expensive, but it's not super expensive. It's not 10 times or 7 to 8 times the cost right now of semaglutide, right? Some patients are paying $1,000 to $1,200. And then many compounding pharmacies are selling it for, let's say on average, $300, $350. So what would you like to pick, right? Obviously if you have insurance, that's a great thing. But if you don't have insurance, a compounded product is a great option, So, but those are the sort of the contributing factors on why the prices are so different.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, clinical trials they can go for years and years, and so much money to monitor. And
the cool thing is, and you see this with the clinical trials, I mean, they're not stopping. The data they're collecting is amazing, because now they're like, for example, they're doing data collection on using semaglutide on fatty liver, right? Now you're going to run trials for that, right? So you have all these different disease states that semaglutide and tirzepatide are working on. And so they're going to continue running these trials, and it's going to continue, obviously, to be expensive, but the data collection process is super helpful to us, right?
Okay. I got a nerd question. The thing just popped in my head. So we got familiar with clinical trials during COVID, a lot of the vast American public, because Dr. Fauci said they sped up the trials of the COVID vaccine to get it to market. Because there's such a shortage, do you see maybe some of those clinical trials being sped up in the future to bring them to market for different diagnostics or different issues?
Yeah, they do that, from time to time, but really they always obviously look first and foremost at the safety standard, right? So let's say you enrolled 100 people and the initial data is showing very, very promising data. And then you go to the FDA and say, hey, FDA board, I really want to speed this up, not 3 to 5 years of data collection. Can we do it in 1 to 2 years? Well, the data has to be so promising initially from a safety standpoint, because if not, you're obviously going to potentially harm a lot of people, right? And you saw the huge amount of side effects that are associated with the GLP1s, right?
Right.
So, they're going to take the road of safety first before trying to speed things up. But in cases where obviously like the vaccine, like, we're hurting on one end, right?
That was a big one. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So they obviously look at that as a outlier and try to then expedite those different companies.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That was a good nerd question. That one was good. But so Dr. Devin Patel, could you expand on why measurements of medications, especially compound GLP-1 medications, differ like between units versus commercial ones? And we get that question so many times. How many units convert over to milligrams, and it's different? And can you just help us?
Yeah, I'll help you. I'll even give you like a little chart. I mean, maybe you guys can put it up on your website or share it or something like that.
Absolutely. Send it to
that'd
us.
be great.
You're absolutely right. I mean, really with the drug, when you obviously look at both GLP-1s, the two common ones we're talking about, they're dosing them in milligrams, right? But these are pre-filled syringes that have dial-up, but the actual amount of mLs that are in there sort of are less than the amount of milligrams. So they're not equivalent, right?
Yeah.
When you get that compounded vial, it's obviously like, what the heck, right? Because you have this insulin syringe that has units on the side and not milligrams. So you're absolutely correct. I mean, even in the pharmacy, we get questions from diabetics, that have this issue, but obviously with the GLP-1s, it's even more confusing, right? So because it's an insulin syringe, the insulin syringe typically has 100 units on the side and a tenth of a unit as like a starting dose, right? So there's numbers on the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way down that side of that syringe. The 10 units equals 0.25 milligrams, right? So the pharmacy that you are purchasing from or getting this from should really do a good job of explaining that. And it doesn't sound like that's happening because there's so many compound pharmacies and so many places to get out there, right? So this would be a cool thing for you maybe doing even more, some TikToks to explain it with the chart. But I'll get it over to you and stuff like that. But it's really not hard once you sort of see the chart, like for initially, if there's a 1 on the side of that syringe, right? That's 10 units. That 10 units, like I said, is 0.25 milligrams. And then typically a lot of people scale on semaglutide to 0.5 milligrams, right? And then those 0.5 milligrams is 20 units, right? So yeah. And like
just my head with
it's tough because it doesn't go like 1 to 1, right? 1 milligram is 40 units. And so it all has to do with the concentration of the vial. And some places have different concentrations too. So that'll throw you off as well, right? So like I said, the patients have to do a better job of asking if they're not provided these directions instead of assuming. Because once you assume that it's equivalent, like can you imagine like it's you're going on week 2 or sorry, week going into week 5 and you're like, oh, I need to go up to 50 units, and now you're injecting that in milligrams, like you're going to overdose. You're going to have a problem on your hand, right? And I know for a fact there's countless probably cases of this happening, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's scary. It
makes sense. It's scary. Yeah, and I get it. Yeah.
It's scary. It makes sense because now it's made the news that there are so many overdoses of compounded GLP-1 meds. And so now, people are like, oh, well, here is just something else,
Right.
Yeah. Or you hear those horror stories of people are going to two different two different med spas and getting too much Ozempic or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it all boils down to having more precise directions. And, the sucky part is like that pharmacy label is tiny and there's only so much text that can be put on that pharmacy label. So it fell out, and obviously everybody's dose gets titrated differently at different times, right? So the amount of medication errors, obviously, are like we were talking about, are going to continue to rise unless there's like easy tools that you can use that people are having. That. But I'll definitely hook it up. I'll give it to you guys. It's awesome. This is what we typically recommend, and it should work for most pharmacies as long as the concentration goes to what I'm talking about, your standard.
I think that would be great. Very helpful, because that we get asked that question daily, and we don't know. So
most
babes in the woods.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I'm going to take us back to Zen Nutrients, and I know that you create a Zen Nutrients that is liver support. Can you share with us the role the liver plays in obesity management, and in supporting? How important is it for us to take supplements and things, or nutritionally, what we need to do to support our liver during obesity management?
Yeah, no, great question. Before I dive into that, I do want to tell you a quick story, and I won't go too long in it. My dad was a diabetic, and October last year he passed away, unfortunately.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, thank you. And he was a diabetic for so many years, and sort of got undiagnosed for the longest time that he had fatty liver disease. He struggled with visceral fat and belly fat right in the abdomen, like so many people do, right? It's typically what you see in a lot of people. They're like skinny fat or just have a gut, and you're like, why can't I get rid of this gut, right? That and stuff. And it's pretty crazy when you start learning the stats, because I really didn't we get taught in pharmacy school about these diseases and comorbidities, but we get taught more about diabetes and cholesterol, and not many people sort of talk about the liver. And the liver is like this new silent killer and this huge epidemic that United States is sort of like dealing with, but they really are not paying attention to. And now slowly it's starting to happen. But 1/3 of the US has a fatty liver. And what happens is when you have a fatty liver, it starts choking. The easiest way to put it, and I explain it, is like when your liver cells starts getting choked and not performing very well, it makes you sluggish, tired, fatigued, brain foggy. So you got a lot of different issues that are associated with fatty liver. But more importantly, you're destroying your liver cells, which then affect your metabolism and try to lose weight in the future as well. So the liver has a super pivotal role in both fat and carbohydrate metabolism, right? So when your liver is not performing correctly, right, you're going to have issues with metabolism and weight gain, right? Naturally, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you see a lot of diabetics hand in hand have fatty liver disease, because the amount of processed foods we're eating and bad oils. You talk about like if you pick up a bag of chips always these days, like JT, what's in a bag of chips? What type of oil is usually in a bag of chips or anything you eat these days?
There's soybean. Well, you asked JT and I'm answering. I'm a student.
Huh? No. I mean, I think I heard something about lard or like vegetable oil.
Yeah, vegetable oil, canola oil, right? Soybean oil, right? It's usually now these days like a mix of oils, and it's not a quality oil. It's not like 100% avocado oil or it's like olive oil. It's sort of a blended oil to make the consumer feel good, but those oils are super inflammatory and they cause issues with the liver as well too. So, so speaking about liver and weight loss, like, yeah, it plays an important role. And this liver supplement, I had said to my dad, I was like, why is there no prescription medication when he got diagnosed?
Right.
I was dumbfounded because I was like, why is there no prescription medication for fatty liver disease? Like, there is zero prescription medication. We have prescription medications for almost everything, but not a fatty liver disease. So you got to control it by diet, exercise, and naturally good supplements will help as well too, but using the right things. So I guess long-winded in my journey in this story that I'm telling is that I had said, well, something needs to address this epidemic that we have going on because people don't really care to a lot of times change their diet. Some do, some don't. So what can you do? Everyone's always looking for that magical pill, right? To make something better. And sometimes you do change. Like, I would say sometimes a lot of people do change, but an overwhelming majority of people won't change, right? So what was cool in Europe, especially in Italy, they found there's this citrus tree called citrus bergamot and artichokes, and they've done several clinical studies in Europe and double-blind placebo control, not just like these like small bougie studies. I'm talking really good studies. And they found like these two ingredients put together at a dose of 600 milligrams was able to help drive down liver fat accumulation, right? Decrease liver enzymes, help with weight management, improve metabolism, right? And so all these studies now that have now come out and being produced in literature over there are now slowly leaking over here in the United States. So the cool thing is like coming back to this whole Zen nutrients concept, I was like, I want that. I want to get my hands on this product. It's called Bergasin. The two of them together make this compound, this patented ingredient called Bergasin. I was like, if I take Bergasin and sort of amplify it with so many people have heard milk thistle and dandelion and of course and like turmeric. I said, I was thinking in my mind, I was like, let me go run this by, some endocrinologists, some GI doctors. And so our board basically looked at the data, looked at the information, and looked at the entire formula. And so we put it together and we said, I think this is going to be a game changer because there is no prescription product, but at least we could finally have a supplement that can sort of support these issues, right? So we're not claiming that they're going to like cure fatty liver by any means, right? But if they can help support and sort of drive that down, those numbers down, and sort of getting you in the mindset of like, every day I got to take something for my liver. We take something for your heart, you take something for your brain, but who talks about taking something for your liver, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then by doing so, a lot of these issues that we're seeing because of the processed foods and your liver just not working and your diet get amplified because you're boosting your liver to work better.
That's so great. My dad had fatty liver issue as well, and I lost him 2 years ago. So I totally understand. Yeah, I get it. No, thank you. But the more I do this work, the more things make so much sense. I know that I was like father, like daughter. I had issues with binging, and my dad was a binger. And I think about like, had these GLP1s been around for him, he did develop type 2 diabetes, but he got healthy. He started to eat right. And of course he avoided, my dad was a sugar guy. So am I. But the fatty liver was what took him in. So I'm inspired to start taking that as well. So
yeah, and
I appreciate it.
No, and it's crazy, like speaking of your dad, because now you start this journey and talking about other people and you that as well as like, I can't tell you countless people. I mean, it goes into that whole spat of 1/3 of the US. Like some people have it and then undiagnosed, but the people that do have it, they're like, what am I going to do about it?
Right.
And this is exactly where the GLP1s are just super amazing. They come in. because obviously you're curbing your appetite for one,
Mm-hmm.
eating less, and I'm a snacker as well. So you're not giving your liver a break, right? And that's one problem. And then if you are giving it a break, you got to sort of feed it good nutrients, right? All the foods that we're eating are so nutrient dense that, you're like, all right, well, they lack good B vitamins. So they're not organic, they're not bioavailable. So like coming up with this idea and this product was like a game changer for us, because we're like, it's not going to, hopefully it makes a difference in a few people's lives, and that few people then start magnifying, telling more people and stuff. But trying to get the word out is the biggest challenge, because we're also creatures of habit and no one wants to change, right? So, so that was why the clever idea of the name, the everyday liver, was like, you got to take this every day, because if you don't, then, you're just going to leave it with everything else. And most liver supplements are about detox. Like people are like, oh, I drink and that's why I need to take a liver supplement to detox. Well, this does detox, help with and supports hepatic and cell regeneration, and helps removal of fat accumulation. Like there's nothing that does all three of those. So a lot of the GLP patients now are like adding it on, like you, Janine, right? They're adding it on because they're finding themselves hitting a plateau or stagnant. And it's just an extra tool that helps sort of amplify, your weight loss goals, so.
Yeah.
So
that is amazing. And just talking about the liver, and no one really talks about it. Like you said, we always talk about the heart and the visceral fat and the sub-Q fat. And the more we do the plus sides, the more we learn. And especially when you talk about, type 2 diabetes, it's like, oh, okay, but I think slowly but surely we're getting the word out about the importance of the liver, because it's always the stalls, the plateaus, what should I eat, the conversion units. So those are some pretty common, frequently asked questions,
Yeah. For me, like the liver was not even like on my realm of like what I was paying attention to, So once I got on a GLP-1, like so I'm like writing this down. I was like, get his stuff.
right?
It is beyond important. And we have members of the community and that's why it's so important to get blood work done, that now some have elevated liver enzyme levels while being on a GLP-1, and some have their doctors saying, if your liver enzyme levels don't come down, we have to take you off of this medication.
Yeah.
So so it is pretty serious, but I mean, thank you for explaining that. But Devin, the plus sides is all about cracking the code to obesity and advocating for those that, suffer with the disease of obesity. Would you consider yourself an individual that has struggled with this as well?
So funny thing is, I'm sitting around like 175. I used to be like 190. I wouldn't say I was ever a really heavy set person, but where I did struggle is dealing with like 4 chins, right? And the weight loss, the weight gain I had was always on my face. And my wife would be like, man, you snore so much. You got to lose weight. You got to lose those 10, 15 pounds. I feel like I'm at a good place, now, because I do exercise 4 or 5 days a week. And believe it or not, like I'm Indian and, and I happen to be vegetarian. So like, it's a struggle to be vegetarian and Indian. And what happens is, because our diet is not the best, okay? Because we eat a lot of carbohydrates. You think you're vegetarian, you're eating a lot more vegetables. Like I love cheese and I love, pizza and pasta and all these things. And obviously those things are not good for you, right? So for probably about 6-7 years ago, I actually had hit the point where I was like, why do I feel sluggish and tired? Why am I not feeling good? Even though I'm not super obese, I just wasn't doing really well. So I went to a functional medicine doctor and I got my labs pulled. And when you go, if anybody, I don't know if anybody here has gone to a functional medicine doctor. These are some of these doctors sometimes that are trained in anti-aging for medicine, but they're pulling labs that are a little bit more detailed than your typical lab, right?
Mhm.
And so I found out, for example, like, I don't have the gene to help with that helps with folic acid, right? So if I take regular folic acid, MTMHR, basically what happens is that you need to take a methylated folic acid. And so probably I think the stat was the latest I had looked, the last I looked was over like 30% of the US take folic acid and it doesn't help them because they don't have this gene help to convert, right? So that's why you see like methylfolic acid or methylfolate, right? So anyway, going to this functional medicine doctor, what I learned tremendously that some of the things I didn't learn in school is that the quality of your supplements you buy make a difference. The 100%, the more organic or bioavailable form makes a difference, right? So if you look at cyanocobalamin versus methcobalamin, right? Methcobalamin means it's in the methylated state. Without sounding too nerdy, it's in the more bioavailable states. That means it's in your body, doesn't need to convert. And so then it just works and you're going to feel better, right? So we sort of come up and make sure our products have like the best ingredients possible, by looking at cost as well, right? Because if I put ridiculously the best always, then someone's gonna be like, dude, I'm not gonna pay $80 for your supplement, right? but the point is that to answer your question, I was not overly obese, but I wasn't super healthy, right? And I found that it was a struggle, and I had to watch what I was eating. And even now, I not just watching what I eat, but I like for a while, even for like 6 months, I had put myself, the doctor put me on metformin. They're like, you're looking like you're pre-diabetic. And so if you tell a 190-pound person that's 6 foot tall, you look at my BMI, like you're pre-diabetic. And because a lot of it has to do with diet, right? And that happened with my dad, and it happens with a huge amount of not just Indian people, but people that find themselves on the go, not eating always the best, or eating processed foods, right? You could go to a fast food restaurant, think you're ordering the right thing, and really at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff is processed, right? So you're not getting quality nutrients. So I've changed my mindset a lot in the last probably 7 years, going and learning a lot of this information, and that sort of has morphed us to where we're at in this vision with Zen Nutrients as well.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's true what you said, like when you mentioned earlier, was it skinny fat?
Yeah.
Did you mention that? Yeah.
I did say skinny fat. Yeah. I got a little pudge. So.
I get it. You know what? My husband's like that too. I tease him. He looks like he's about 3 months pregnant. That's it. And it doesn't bother him. Like, whatever. He's like, well, I'm getting so, like, sir, it's just right here. It's just right here.
and he probably, you get so used to just feeling cruddy. I say that word because we just wake up like, I didn't sleep too well, but you don't really realize like it's your organs telling you something that they're not optimized the way they should be, right? And it's a lot of it of what we put in our on our body and our system, but listen, we're always on the go. It's like a constant rat race, but you got to figure out how to maneuver yourself through this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Unless like, I would say unlike like Sabrina's husband, what she calls him, the Latin Adonis.
The Latin Adonis.
Yes, he is Latin Adonis. I'm Indian, but he's the Latin Adonis.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah.
So
how's your diet at home though? Right? But I'm sure because you have the Latin side and you still got a lot of carbs. At least you got some beans and some other proteins.
He eats relatively clean. So I'm still trying to find my groove, with the whole, ever since I started the GLP-1, because like before I love Indian food, that's what I was raised with at home, the dals and the rotis, so I'm still trying to find my groove and learn about nutrition properly, but he eats super clean.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No, and what's crazy is like I found out from more like research dealing with my parents, for example, like I'm like, how did this happen? Like you guys eat very clean. Now you don't even go out to eat much and you're not even eating a lot of processed foods.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, like even the foods that are sold now at the grocery stores that are even like, let's say at like Latin markets or Indian markets or any of these places, they're getting stripped away, right, from their nutrients as well, because everyone's trying to cut costs and make a bigger buck, right? So the labels are not the same that they used to be, right? Obviously the control in the US has changed drastically compared to what you see in some of the like European and different countries and stuff. So that it makes a difference. And, I find out that reading labels and really understanding what those labels mean makes a big difference. And that's where people have to spend some time and effort.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Sorry,
right.
I'm going on and on, so I'll let you keep asking.
No, it's the question. It's the tried and true question we have in our community, which is getting things moving. We
Yeah.
Let's say that nicely. Besides the usual, like say Miralax and Colace that our audience takes for to get in the party rocking. Are there any other medications or any natural supplements that you or combinations that you have an idea of to share with our audience?
Yeah, no, great question. Listen, you'd be shocked because when you ask the question back, even like counseling patients that are on GLP1s, you find out first and foremost, like the three major things of drinking a lot more water, right? Exercising and eating more fiber diet. Those three things are just not even happening, right? So people are looking for that, again, that magic pill to be like, help me with my constipation, right? But those three things are like the best natural things that you can do right up front, So I definitely would 100% encourage that, right? But then as you dive into other things, if somebody goes, yeah, I get 8 to 10 glasses of water, I'm exercising, I'm even getting proper sleep, and all those things are happening, then some other options are like obviously you said Miralax and Colace, but like there's a triple magnesium complex that's out. I mean, there's one that's super popular. There's one that's super popular that you can find on like through TikTok and different channels that people are talking about. There's one called Bioemblem Triple Magnesium Complex. That's one. But because what happens is that they have a mix of magnesium glycinate, magnesium malate, and magnesium citrate, right? It takes away a lot of the other inactive ingredients. And so that is one brand I could say that is probably really good. And there's probably other similar ones that are out there, but you figure like $30 for a good magnesium supplement, you get a 90 count, you take at least one a day, stay ahead of it, right? Because a lot of times they don't want to stay ahead of it and take a lot of the supplements ahead of time. So they're like, it's not going to happen to me, right? And once you get blocked up, right, then it's like, oh God. Right?
Yep.
And
it'll make you a believer.
Yeah, exactly.
It really will.
Yeah. So that's
like,
why I go and advocate. That was one of the things about what's cool about the peptide vite. It's like really an all-in-one daily GLP vitamin because it has magnesium malate in there. Granted, it has a small amount in there, but the point is like that small amount is there. If you take it every day, it's there to help you with your constipation, potentially preventing that, right? It also has electrolytes in there as well. So there's Himalayan pink salt in there, there's potassium citrate, and there's magnesium, right? So you got your electrolyte balance, and then you have obviously something to help with constipation, a small amount. The other cool thing that's in there is that you have enzymes like bromelain and lipase. And so these enzymes help out with digestion. Now, not to speed up digestion so much, like a GLP, it's not supposed to do the opposite, but these enzymes help out with constipation as well, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
yeah. It is very effective.
Yeah.
all I could say is I wish it was available this time last year.
That
I'm really intrigued now. So, I'm just gonna, for those of us who haven't had like a lot of side effects, I've had a few, but it sounds like this would still be beneficial for someone who doesn't have a lot of side effects. The Zen nutrients, the peptide bite.
The peptide bite does, because it's like a daily. It's a daily GLP vitamin. So So the only thing I caution is that if you're a diabetic, there is chromium picolinate in there. That helps to boost your metabolism. But if you're a diabetic and you're on a GLP-1, there is a caution for hypoglycemia, like low. But at levels like when the studies in the literature that were out there. So when the pharmaceutical companies decided to and look at supplements and see if there's really a drug-drug interaction, like they didn't spend time and money in their clinical trial to be like, chromium does this. They're going off of anecdotal data to be like, we think it will, because it automatically somewhat drops your, blood sugar level, right? But that's doses at like 800 to 1,000 micrograms. So what happens is there's only 200 micrograms in the product, right? So even though there's a small amount in there, that small amount's to help boost your metabolism. So, but to answer your question, like, it's good because there's something in there to help fatigue, right? There's something in there to help nausea. There's something to help your electrolyte balance. And then there's something to help your constipation, right? So like, if you want to take it every day, I know now there's probably been well over 5,000 patients like in the last 6 months taking it. And they're all like ranting and raving, just like you, Janine. They're like, I wish I had this earlier. Like, this is so cool, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's true. It's true.
I am intrigued.
Oh, totally.
And the liver support too. So.
Yeah. It's, I mean, and I guess, I had the privilege of Devin, like, sharing his knowledge with me. And when he did that, I was just like, okay, say no more. And it has been a smoother road ever since, and especially with being in maintenance, still figuring that out. But it's been a definite positive. But
so awesome.
Thank you. And, and I know you had talked about this previously, not here, but, you've touched on it about, many people experiencing stalls and plateaus. And do you have any input on what the difference is in a stall and a plateau, and how can we move past them?
Wow. I mean, I think the definition is very similar. Like, you stall and then you become plateaued, right? But I guess probably the bigger question is, like, you're probably dealing with a lot of people hitting a true plateau. Like, they're going on maybe a couple months, and I'm throwing the question back to you, like, couple months of saying, I'm not losing any weight, right?
Yeah.
And what you're hearing now is, like, in many instances, that's somewhat normal, right? I mean, people are so happy of just like losing all this weight, and then you hit this plateau, and you're like, man, what the heck, right? Why can't I lose any more weight? You're trying so many things. And I think that's partly just normal, right? Now, if you're hitting probably 6 months and nothing's happening, then you got to go back to the drawing board of like, all right, am I getting enough sleep? Because that's a big thing that people, believe it or not, people are not getting, and watching their stress and cortisol, right? Are you still getting enough protein intake, right? And probably the same questions and, responses a lot of people are talking about before, and probably some of your previous podcasts, but like, it's definitely there. I mean, listen, I'm not a big advocate of saying, all right, you know what, throw more medicine at something that is an issue and stuff like that, right? Because people are already taking a bunch of stuff, right? I am seeing and some telemedicine groups, and I'm seeing doctors recommend, MIC injections, Lipo-C, different products to help boost your metabolism, right? Like these different fat burners. Do they work? I think they do work, right? But like, isn't necessary completely. Without having to spend a couple $100, on more of these products, I don't think always the case. I think everyone's that quick fix. So just, I would say fix the first things first, of your diet, your exercise, your sleep. And then if that's like completely maxed out, then maybe try something else. But those plateaus are real, right? So.
Oh, very much so. And especially when you're going back and forth in between like 1 to 3 pounds. And that happened with me. It was like 157, 160, 158, 159, 158, 160. You're like, really? You're playing with my emotions here. But we know that it's part of the process, and stalls were meant to be broken. And I always say it's like your body just resetting. It's like, hey, I kind of like where I am. Yeah. Let's just kind of parlay here a little bit, and then we'll move again.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you guys talking about sometimes something, and some people are switching from semaglutide to tirzepatide, and switching medications and stuff like that. Have you guys talked about that on any of the podcasts?
Yeah, one of the members of our show, Lydia switched from semaglutide to tirzepatide, or she did Ozempic to Mounjaro.
Yeah.
Kim has tried everything. She did Saxenda, Ozempic.
Yep.
And then Mounjaro.
Trulicity.
Yeah.
And she's seeing progress as well, because there's definitely that happening as well too. Even though at the end of the day there's a GLP, and then with tirzepatide having a dual agonist, you still have at the end of the day a different molecule in your system, and how the receptors work and how the drug binds to that in your system. It's going to work and elicit a different response. So.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you all are seeing this, but many people that are kind of flowing, to a different GLP-1, they're, many of them were maxed out on the previous medication. And then when they, like, for example, come over to tirzepatide, they're like, I'm not losing any weight. What is going on? But I always, and I don't know if this is correct. I believe it is, but it's a completely different medication. So your body has to get used to the new med. It's not going to be instant, the weight loss. Is that kind of the correct name?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And listen, even the pharma companies are still learning, right? So because this wasn't part of their initial data collection, right?
So they're still all learning from us. We're all definitely, it feels like we're in a process in the middle of, it sounds kind of big, not a revolution. We're in the process of a big change.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And and I like telling this, to a lot of people, like, at the end of the day, are you happy from where you were 6 months, a year ago? And most people are like, well, hell yeah, I am. Right.
Right.
Like, right. I mean, people have struggled for such a long time at being at a certain weight, and now you're there, and now you're getting frustrated because you're like, damn it, I want to even keep going. Right.
True.
So sometimes your body's just telling you, like, you know what, when the time's right, I'll kick into gear the next phase and stuff,
No, I get it. I was like static for almost an entire year, probably like March until December, about the same weight. But I dropped, like I tell every episode, like I dropped like 2 pant sizes. I work out a lot, so I just deduced it to that. But lately, I think my life finally slowed down. And so now I'm starting to see the dip again. So maybe I was just, like you said, you need rest. You need everything all to be working in conjunction. So I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think the stress and the sleep are not talked about enough. I think that those are huge factors that come into play that people don't consider.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree 180% with that.
Right.
I do. because we get insomnia.
We can get a little And then we're also of a certain age of us women in this group. Sometimes, insomnia does hit during perimenopause and menopause. So we got a whole lot going on.
It does.
We have all the things.
When you fix one thing, you got something else to deal with, right?
All the things.
Exactly. We just have all the things going on.
Yeah.
Got our personal summers and
I had one at the beginning of the episode. I was like, oh gosh, am I gonna make it?
that's okay.
Oh gosh.
So we don't have any more questions for you. You're now no longer in the hot seat.
Oh, awesome. Well, they were all great questions, and we get fielded those quite a bit at the pharmacy. So it's nice.
I bet.
So it's cool.
And we'll make sure to, link all of your information. Definitely get us get that chart from you. So we can share it with all of our listeners, our followers, viewers, everything.
Yep.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. Loved it. I'm happy to come back. And if anybody has any separate questions, part of your show, just shoot them over to me. I'd be happy to do my best to answer them.
We will.
Yeah.
We definitely will.
All right. Well, we appreciate you so much.
Yeah, this was great.
We'll have you back.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
I love it. So cool.
All right. Enjoy Florida.
All right.
I know, right? Enjoy.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That's great.
That was great.
So fun.
That was
really
really good. That was really good.
Welcome to
I like the way that he was framing his answers, very easy to understand,
Yeah, definitely. And I love how he's, sharing information. It's not, oh, well, let me just tell you this. Well, let me give you this chart. So, and, when he talked about his dad, that just kind of tugged at my heart there. I was like, oh,
but it made so much sense too.
Mhm.
Like, that was my dad too, but wow.
yeah.
Everything, the more I do this work, the more everything makes sense.
Everything. And you almost kind of look and you're like, why didn't I know this? But we just didn't know. We didn't know.
We weren't educated on this stuff.
No, but you do the best with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And we, did the best, but now we know. And so we can, advocate for ourselves better and just do better.
Yeah.
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 All right.
I will part with this. It's a marathon and not a sprint. It's so true. This journey is a commitment. It is a true commitment, and you're going to have ebbs and flows, and you just have to just roll with it. Just roll with it, babe. Sorry.
Yep.
What I'm going to end with is set realistic expectations and have grace. Have grace for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
All right. I'll lean on my old standby. My Katharine Hepburn quote is never, always be yourself, never give up, and don't put too much flour in your brownies.
You interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again. And the hot flashes are gone, which is, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you have this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need. Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/plussides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/plussides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.